Alright, how's everybody doing? This is the Comic Samurai. I want to welcome you to my next video, and tonight we're going to be doing another Let's Rank challenge. This is where we look at a run on a series and assign every cover a letter grade from A to F, and then pick our favorite and award it that special S tier rank. And tonight we're going to be looking at Flinch, put out by Vertigo Comics in 1999. This anthology series collected a few short stories in each issue, done by different creative teams. Let's go ahead and jump right in. First up, we got this issue number 1 with a beautiful cover done by Phil Hale. Now, I'm not too familiar with his work, but I really like this premiere issue's cover. The black and white kind of fit the tone of this. It was going to be a little bit spooky. I like the shadows behind him. It's really a one lighting source and that stark shadow behind him like a flashbulb going off. And there's always a weird feeling when a character is doing something with their eye. Nobody likes to see anybody touch their eye, especially with like a metallic tool. And it looks like he's marking himself up for like surgery or something there. But this really was a good introduction to the series, and I'm giving this one a B. Now, when this anthology series kicked off in 1999, they did have some big names in it. Jim Lee worked on that first one, and they got Richard Corbin to do the cover on issue number 2. And Richard Corbin always does a great job. I love his horror stuff. But on this one, he's got a skeleton that's like embracing a figure here, and she's kind of locked in his rib cage there. I like the cobwebs. I like the texture on this one. It is spooky. I even like how the type that they incorporated on the cover is easily read there. Sometimes when they put type on a big image on a cover, you can't even read it. But this one works for me, and I'm giving this one another B. Next up, we got issue number 3 here, and this is a very reminiscent cover of like a Russian classical piece of work here. But you've got that one bright source of light and all these little creepy figures like walking in the snow, casting shadows. And they kind of progress along here. Each one, you got a rabbit and like a dog-like figure. And oh, they're just kind of creepy. And they lead to this older woman here. That is an interesting cover. It is compelling. But, oh, yeah, it does make you want to open it up and see what's going on. This is an okay one. I'm giving this one a C. Next up is issue number 4 here. And this is one that kind of tried to use some photorealism here with some special effects. They look computer-generated. Didn't really work here. I like how the lighting is a little bit gray on the bottom there, and the flames make it really warm lighting, a red lighting on the top there in this one figure, but the seats don't work. They have individual backs like there's some kind of a lounge chair there, but then the bases are connected. If you look at this one too long, it just doesn't make any sense here. You've got this figure here kind of screaming, but then you've got shoes on fire like there was a spontaneous combustion. I get what they're going for here, but again, it didn't really work. I'm giving this one a D. I do like these anthology series. You can sit down and just read, 5 or 6 pages and get a whole story. But this next one is issue number 5, and it's Tim Sale who does this one. I love this cover there. You've got this lone figure walking and blood dripping there. It's black and white, and they only use one additional color. And I like when they do that. I'm going to do a series that just spotlights black and white and one color. And this one's going to be on that list. And I like how Tim Sale snuck in his initials on the license plate of that car there. This reminds me a little bit of Jackie Brown there. But I do like it. It's kind of a stark black image. Tim Sale always does a great one. This one's another B here. All right, moving on. Next up, we got issue number 6. Now, this is one that I didn't really get. It's got a kid with a paper hat here, sitting in like a grave with a tombstone behind him there. He's holding a skull and like a pirate's cadaver that's got gold in the chest cavity there. I can only think of it with Georgie and the paper boat on this cover there. The paper hat, I don't know if it works. It is creepy. It's unsettling. But I don't like the painted, like the oil paint, where it's all mushy and a little bit, I do like that it's dreamlike. I'm torn on this one, but I think it's just a C cover, in my opinion. Next up, we got issue number 7, and this one really does pull at the horror strings here. You've got that lone shirtless figure there with a creepy mask and all these creepy photographs on the wall there, and your perspective is of his victim, and you're looking at your feet that are bound there. It is interesting. I love those ones where you can look and each picture kind of tells its own little horror story there. Oh, it is creepy. It reminds me of 7. The opening credits there where you see the photographs and all those black and white images and they've got the 9 Inch Nails music going in the background there. Yeah, if this cover had a soundtrack, it would be like 9 Inch Nails or Korn or something. Oh, it's creepy. I'm giving this one an A. I like that one. Oh, all right. Next up, we got issue number 8, and this cover was done by Jay Lee. And he always does a good job. He did some Gunslinger, Dark Tower covers, Stephen King's series, and it's really reminiscent of this. They had like a witch character, and when he draws old women's creepy faces, they have a look that really is unsettling. But I like the humor in this one too. Like she knows they're poking something in the oven that shouldn't be there, and this kid's like recoiling in horror. I like how the elements are glowing red there, and I always like comics that have interesting perspective or an interesting point of view. And this one's being shot from inside the oven, and I just love that creativity there. The cool blue behind them with that red lighting from the element there. They contrast each other well. I like this one, and I'm giving this one another A. Ooh, that's creepy. Next up, we got issue number 9. Now, this is an Alex Ross cover. I love that. He did a cover here of like Old Man Time there, the last year. And this baby skeleton here of 2000, like it didn't make it. That's foreboding. Nobody wants to see the new year dead on arrival there. And oh, a baby skeleton. That's really off-putting there. And it does look like a baby, like the head skull is really big. This old man's like, oh, what are we going to do? That is an off-putting cover here. And I'm giving Alex Ross an A. Oh, he always does a great job. Next up, we got number 10 here, and I do like this cover. This is one of my favorite ones. I featured it in my window cover here because you can look at each window in the background, and there's like a crime or a horror story going on in that one. I mean, your eye is drawn immediately to that well-lit telephone booth and the main figure standing there. But the story that's being told is in all the windows and all the background there, and this cover does it unlike any other. It does the best job at that, at having kind of a red herring of the main central figure, because what's going on in the background is much more interesting. This is a creative cover. It's got comedy, horror, everything mixes well, and I'm giving this one an A. All right, we're getting towards the end. There was only 16 issues in this whole series, and this is issue number 11, and this one is one of the funniest covers that I've ever seen. I love this. It's another flashbulb image where it's like stark lighting, and it's just a still frame, and they've caught this unsuspecting couple, and it's this guy holding this dog's body with a woman's head sewn on. It is so creepy, and the lipstick's all smeared like they were kissing or making out. There's a bottle of wine there. Oh, I love this. And look at how his stance is so crooked. The body language there. He was just totally taken unaware by this photograph. Oh, this is a humorous cover. It's scary. It's science fiction. It's twisted. And this one's getting an A. I love that cover. All right, next up we got issue number 12, and this one is one of my least favorites. I do like the style of it, how it's a little more graphic instead of oil painting or photorealistic, and usually I like that, but this central figure of that doll there with the heart there, and this girl whose face is being obscured by that, and you can see that there's big old insects in the eyes there and the heart. It's got a message that kind of contrasts what's going on, so there's a sense of irony. What's being said is actually different than what the actual meaning of it is. That fluorescent pink in the title clashes with that greenish brown in the background there. This doesn't work on very many levels. Yeah, there's no redeeming qualities in this one for me at all, and I'm giving this one an F. Oh, I'm sorry. I hate to do that. Next up, we got issue number 13. Now, this is a little more interesting here, but it's still a quirky one, like this giant clown laying on the ground there, and he's been defeated by this figure here. It's a little more of like a typical superhero comic book cover, but it does bring in that sense of like there's something off. This is a different series. It wasn't exactly horror. It wasn't exactly crime, and this cover kind of sums that up. It's just a weird, strange image. Like that guy's looking at his watch, like trying to tell time. What does that have to do with anything? Who knows? And I kind of like those mystery covers sometimes. And I do like how the lighting on like the satin costume of the clown looks there. This one's all right, and I'm giving it a B. All right, next up we got issue number 14 here, and this is a Mike Kaluta cover, and I love this one. It's so interesting. You get this aperture where you're looking through a boarded up window there, and it's like, it just feels like fall with dead leaves around there and this rotting wood here, and one's fallen, so you do get a peek in and see this woman with like a cadaver in a box. Oh, it's creepy, and she's got nails. She's like hammering it shut. I love covers where you're seeing something that you're privy to something that nobody's supposed to see, and I love that about this cover. Mike Kaluta did a great one, and I'm giving this one an easy B. All right, next up we got issue number 15 here, and this one, it didn't really work. I hated that style of these impossibly huge figures, and the lighting across his eyes is weird, and he's carrying what's obviously some kind of a corpse wrapped up in something there, and it's just, a typical cover of like a gangster disposing of a body there. I couldn't catch much interesting off of this. It reminded me of Bill Sienkiewicz. He drew the Kingpin like that as just this huge, hulking, massive figure there. And it didn't work then, and it doesn't work now. Yeah, this isn't a very interesting cover to me, and I'm giving this one a D. All right, the last one, issue number 16, is another Richard Corbin issue here. And oh, it's so interesting with this maternal figure here, holding a baby, showing it off, and the baby's just an insect, so it does kind of upset your expectations here. It's colorful and well lit, so the coloring goes against the feel of this, like this alien, insectile, almost off-putting baby there. It reminds me of The Fly or something like that, where there's that dream sequence that she gives birth to a larva or something there. This is kind of a gross, off-putting cover here, and I'm giving this one a B. All right, now that we have all of them ranked, let's go ahead and take a look at the comics that I put in the A tier there. We'll pick our favorite and award a special S tier here. Oh, I do like that comedy there. We've got the phone booth one that tells such a great story. Alex Ross, Jay Lee, that opening creepy one there that reminds me of Seven. But if I had to go with one cover here, I think that this number 10 is just a brilliant cover done by Edwin Blukovic. I've never heard of that artist before, but oh, I really do like that one. With all those windows in the background and that cityscape, I love how the lighting in the telephone booth there is just so white. It really contrasts all the other warm lighting that, like, those rooms should be inviting. He's outside in the cold in this big city, and the warm lighting should be inviting. But if you look in each window, there's something horrific going on, and that juxtaposition of what your expectations should be and how it's overthrowing that, I like that. The blue and the sky in the background there. This works on all levels, and I'm happy to give it my S tier ranking. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. Let me know what other runs, series, artists, writers you want me to rank. Thanks for joining me, and have a great night.